Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the SmartChart European session. Hope you're all well. All right, so we get into the high impact news announcements of the week, in particular with the US dollar, with the US consumer confidence report released at 3 p.m. GMT, and it's basically in the title really. It's just a report which shows the level of confidence in the consumer, and essentially what it is it's a survey of 3,000 different households, asking them to rate the level of financial and economic conditions, and the results are put into an index. And the market is expecting a rise in consumer confidence, and of course it is important, right? Because the consumer is what accounts for the majority of overall inflation in terms of how supply and demand works with the price of goods and services in an economy. And of course, inflation is a metric used by central banks to determine interest rate policy. So it could be a market mover, okay? So we'll keep an eye on that, but we do have a lot of other high impact news announcements coming out later in the week with the US dollar, the Federal Reserve FOMC statement and press conference on Wednesday, which is obviously very important. There's no changes expected in interest rate policy, but of course we've had President Donald Trump come into office and say he wants the central bank to cut interest rates. It'll be interesting to see if they have any response to that. And of course, a few more US news announcements later in the week with the GDP and PCE number as well, okay? And so in this instance, we're going to be mindful of volatility, and it's expected to be quite high. We did highlight that yesterday, and we actually got a lot of volatility there in US stock markets with the news coming out of China on their DeepSeek program, which is basically a big rival to OpenAI, the ChatGPT function. So we had a massive correction in US stock markets, okay? We had more than $600 billion wiped off the value of Nvidia, okay? It's the largest one-day drop, market cap drop in history for a US stock. So there's a lot of volatility out there. It hasn't quite seeped into the currency market yet, all right? So we'll see if any of these news announcements this week does cause any volatility. I'll do my best to update you of any potential trading opportunities. But the focus really has been on the US dollar, and if you actually look at yesterday morning in this European session, we took one trade there on Euro US dollar on the phase changer, where we did capitalize on the weakness in the US dollar from that news announcement that did come out. So let's get a quick update on that, and then we'll look at some of the different opportunities that have been highlighted on the London and Sydney trading floors to focus on for the rest of the day. Okay, so yesterday morning in the European session, we looked at the 180 phase changer strategy on the 4-hour charts. One of my favorite strategies, in fact, helps to identify and trade momentum trends. You've got lots of different strategies inside of SmartCharts to cover global asset classes and timeframes, which basically helps to identify and trade different types of conditions and states the market could be in. And this is one of my favorite ones. Helps identify momentum trends. It's one of the 5 that we go through on your 3-day trade certification live Learn Forex workshop. And we know SmartCharts basically finds a lot of conditions for us, okay? And there's just a couple of things that we look for ourselves. And if you're not familiar with how SmartCharts is helping you, of course, with your strategies, then make sure you're reviewing all your e-learning materials in the Learn section of SmartCharts. Tons of videos, courses, so make sure you're doing all those. Make sure you're attending all your live trading events as well, so attending all your online classes, your online webinars, your live trading webinars, your live trading boot camps and workshops and all those things. And of course, attending all your one-to-one coaching sessions, okay? And make sure you're analyzing your performance data from your statistical journal, so your coach and mentor can help tailor and customize your trading plans to your strengths and weaknesses. All right. So we know SmartCharts finds a few things for us, and there's a couple of things we look for ourselves. Okay, so we can then adapt to current market behavior, current market psychology. We can adapt to the changing pace of the market, the changing volatility of the market. It's important that you adopt a trading style that doesn't work right now, but can work over many years as markets change, as volatility changes, as trends change, and so on. All right. So the checklist we go through on your 3-day live Forex workshop is basically going to help you to do that. All right. So we look for a couple of things ourselves. So we had this yesterday morning, this opportunity here with this up arrow, and then we just looked for a couple of things. And we just wanted to be on the moving average, the yellow line and blue line, which gives a smooth line of price direction. And last time we got to the moving average, we said buys turn up here before, so you know, maybe there's a high probability chance they could turn up here again that morning. All right, and then you know, we also look for some other type of support resistance level. Could be pivot points, Fibonacci retracement levels. I keep it simple, just simple technical lines. It could be an angled line, like a trend line there, or it could be these previous high points which can break through and then at what was a level of resistance could act as a level of support. All right, so basically at this level we had a confluence of support areas to say, okay, there's a high probability chance of buyers turning up. We know from the currency strength indicator from your tools tab yesterday morning, you know, the euro was actually really strong and the US dollar was quite weak. All right, so that helped confirmed where the money is flowing into and out of as well. All right, and we said, okay, we'll take this trade here, but you know, if it doesn't work out, then maybe if it gets to the trend line, we'll also trade there as well. But again, we can only work with information we had at the time, which was this. So that worked out okay. All right, I mean, it's not on the radar now anymore, because of course, what do you notice? Buyers had been turning up in these moving averages, which is why we've been trading there, but now suddenly look, price has broken the moving averages, so, and it's broken the trend line. Okay, so in this instance, if anything, we could be in for a bit of a trend change, all right, on this 4-hour chart, but it's not on our radar anymore. Okay, but something that is on our radars, if we go to the vol reversal strategy, this one on Canadian yen has been highlighted from the London City trading floors and is looking quite interesting. So in this instance, we've been trading a lot of trends, but actually, as you can see on that previous chart, we had a nice trend continuation trade yesterday, but now we've broken the trend. So now we're probably looking at more positional trading, maybe some reversals, trend reversals, consolidations, these kind of things. This is where your vol reversal strategy becomes very useful. And this is one of the 5 as well that we also go through on your 3-day live trading certification workshop. And it's one that helps to identify different types of trend reversals and different types of consolidations. Okay, so it's a strategy which utilizes fractals, which are the green and red chevrons on the chart, and those aim to replicate the turning points in the markets. Okay, the swing lows and swing highs in the market. So in this instance, smart charts will use those to help identify different exhaustion patterns, such as, you know, double top formations and double bottom formations. Okay, and then we just, you know, apply a simple checklist on each of those flashing currency pairs to determine which ones we want to trade. And so really just one step on the checklist, okay, for that we go through or on your 3-day trade certification workshop, and we just want to make sure we're trading at a level of support or resistance, basically. All right, so for example, where we are right now, what you may notice is a few different things going on. First of all, we had this diagonal line on the chart. Okay, on this angle of price, buyers have turned up here, they've turned up here, they've turned up here. Could they potentially turn up here again? Right, so again, you know, we don't know, but we stack these different clues in our favor and try to look for all these clues to converge at the same area. We can also see that every time it's come to this angle of price, look, we had a double bottom, we had a double bottom, we had a double bottom. This is where price has failed to make a lower low cycle. Okay, so that's also interesting. We can also see that where we are right now on the far right hand side is that we're also at a horizontal level of support. We can see, look, if I just take this a little bit here, so something you can see, look, price turned here, it broke through, it's turned here, broke through, turned here, maybe it's going to turn here. So there's also another horizontal support area kicking in here. So what do we have? We have a convergence of support areas, okay, all converging at the same area. And also for you technical analysis, classical technical analysis traders, you might notice that we could be trading in what is known as a long-term ascending triangle formation. Okay, so in this instance, traders then may trade inside of this, but then we'll also look for price to break out at some point as well. Okay, but right now we're inside of it, and that's how we're going to trade it. So we have a confluence of support levels. Okay, so literally one or two things that we have on the checklist. That checklist is so important, okay, because it just gives you a focus. You know, every time you're turning up to the market, you know exactly what you want to see, you know exactly where you want to see it. That level of focus is so important to find consistency and objectivity in a $7 trillion market where there's loads of currencies and time frames and indicators, parameters, tools. There's so much knowledge out there, okay? But it's about condensing it into a focus where you can find performance. And also because we already know what we want to see before we want to see it, okay, we can take that focus and train and condition ourselves to have 100% belief and confidence in actually following the plan, following the checklist, listening to the market through the work we do on your day 3 of your trade certification live Learn Forex workshop, your back testing and forward testing work, which is an absolute game changer when you're incorporating that into your trading routines, okay? So on top of helping to identify opportunities, SmartChart will also help the risk management side. If we click that up icon, it will populate an entry price of the blue dot, stop loss of the red dot, target the green dot, which can all be adjusted according to your own user preferences. So for example, we might drag the target a little bit higher towards the top of that long-term trading range, just to try to squeeze out a little bit more of a higher reward to risk on the trade. And then it will also automatically do the percentage risk, reward to risk, currency conversion calculations for you. So click on a button, all that risk and portfolio management work is done. I like to set an expiry on this strategy and time frame with a current bar close, and then decline or accept the trader at the bottom. And what that means is if buyers don't turn up, as they've been turning up on this angular price before, as they've been turning up on these double bottom patterns that have been happening before, as they've been turning up in this horizontal support line, they've been turning up before. If they decide not to turn up here again and get through the entry level, this pending trade will just expire, didn't win, didn't lose, didn't cost anything. If they do decide to turn up, that will trigger into a live open trade. Then either it goes to the target level, okay, and it becomes a winning trade, or it goes to the stop loss level and it's a losing trade, okay. All right, so plenty of other things going on, so let's see how the day unfolds. That is it from me. I'm going to wish you all the best with your trading, and I'll speak to you next time. Bye for now.